Hello everybody, I am here to walk you through my every other week plant care routine. I usually every Saturday do some sort of plant care, but my every other week one is a little bit more intense. It's where I kind of tend to all of the plants for different reasons and do all of my little things. So we're gonna look at all of the house plants and even like the garden that I'm starting. Now I am not an expert at any of this. I am just getting started in my journey really. So take this all with a grain of salt, but people ask me all the time about my plant care routine and I wanted to share with you the little bit that I have learned and just kind of how I structure it out for me. So typically what I do is I tend to my plants every single Saturday. I do a reset day every Saturday. Let me know if that's something you guys want. Comment below if you want the full reset day, if you want to know what else I do today. But for now, we'll just focus on the plants. Let me know too if you have specific plant tips. If you see some of my plants and you're like, you need a little help in this area, I would love to hear what has worked for you in the past. But I'm going to share what's kind of currently working for me and what I've learned and how I do it. Let's dive in. Okay, something I do once a month is I actually water my plants with diluted coffee. I don't water every single plant. Some of them really benefit from it and some of them don't, but it does add some needed nutrients to a lot of my plants. So I'm just diluting the coffee, and usually it's leftover coffee that I have around from the week. And right now I'm pouring it into a baking dish because for a lot of my smaller plants, I like to bottom water in a baking dish. It just helps me to put a bunch into one space. And then I will put these small cacti in there. The things that don't like for their leaves to get wet, I prefer to bottom water. Or if I can't get to their soil, at the top, I will bottom water those as well. So the things that do typically benefit are succulents, pothos, do benefit from the coffee watering. I do have two plants that don't, and I will share those soon. You see here that I'm using a beach towel to put under the plant for drainage. It's just the most absorbent towels that I have in my house, and they seem to work really well. And this way I don't have to worry about having drainage pots for every single one. I can just let it drain for a while and move on to do the other plants. So while that one drains, I'm watering all of the plants that either don't have drainage holes or have trays underneath them. So I'm just kind of going around. This is a propagation that I did. If you guys want a propagation video, let me know. I definitely have one coming for pothos. And now I'm just kind of continuing to walk around and water those plants with coffee, diluted coffee that can stand up to that. This guy is giving me the most trouble. I have really struggled to figure out how to keep him healthy and happy. We're still navigating what he needs and why he doesn't seem to be thrilled. This is my oldest plant in my house. We've had this one for over 5 years and he seems to be doing really well. And I know that we should have draining pots for all of our succulents and cacti, but the truth is that we just don't, and we do what we can. This floppy cactus I thought was getting overwatered, but turns out he was getting underwatered, and that's why he flopped over. But he's still seems to be doing well. We've had him for several years and he's going strong, growing new things all the time. So we're trusting that it's working out for him. All right, and this is my kind of plant wall above our couch, and I just pull down everything from the top, put the things that need drainage on top of the beach towel, and some of these other things like the ones in those baskets, they're self-watering pots, so I just water those pots and they continue to water back into them. But I just give these all a good soak until they're draining out the bottom or I feel like they've got nice and covered up. And the ones that are left up there are the ones that are my larger plants that I prefer to bottom water. I'm just doing a little check-in though with the cacti while we're here. You can tell that it's time to move them when the topsoil starts to look damp or wet. You can go ahead and take them out as well. And just putting new ones in. And then the ones that I like to bottom water in the bathtub are just ones that are like heavy enough to stand up. And I do put a little coffee in the bathtub water as well. And I let those soak. Usually I wait until I can tell that the top soil is wet. I usually do this for about 30 minutes and then I put them on a towel and let them dry off as well. Then I'm watering my snake plants, which I do only once a month. When I bought my snake plant, the advice I got was don't forget to water it. So I don't water them too often. And when I do, it's usually about once a month. This is our dining room area. I love it so much. It's so full of plants. I just take all of the hanging ones down. At this point, all of the other plants in that room have been watered. So I'm just taking all of the hanging ones down and giving them a good soak as well. At this point, usually I do go through and pull any yellow or dead leaves. This week I didn't have too many, but some weeks I have a lot. It's just always different, especially when I bring a new plant into the house and it's acclimating to the new environment. I might pull a significant amount more, but right now, not too many. These are the plants. This ficus is one that I don't water with coffee. It doesn't like it, and my Monstera does not like it either. So I'm just watering the Monstera, and then I wipe the leaves down about once a month just so that they can more accurately absorb the sunlight. Helps with the photosynthesis process, and it's kind of nice. It feels like sweet to connect to your plant in that way. I just use like a moist towel and kind of gently get through it. At this point, I also like to rotate my Monstera because it gets more split leaves with the more sun that it gets, and so I like to give it a good rotation so that I can get more split leaves, more evenly spread. And now we're gonna move into the garden. I fertilize the garden every other week. So this is where I just kind of use good old Miracle-Gro fertilizer. I'm sure there's something better. We do compost, but we use a service and we haven't composted enough to get our compost tea yet. But when that time comes, that'll be really exciting. But for now, I fertilize with Miracle-Gro, and I just put a little bit in my watering can and fill her up with water and take her down to the garden. I'm also kind of packing up all my supplies that I need today, like scissors, gloves, that kind of thing. Okay, so today I am pruning up my plants, tying them up. I have a cucumber plant that needs some tendrils just to be tied up so that they can really catch onto the trellis and grow upward. And then I just need to prune some of the dead leaves or leaves that aren't quite looking happy so that the plant can give all of its energy into growing a delicious, yummy fruit and not to keeping these dead leaves alive. And I'm doing the same thing with my tomato plant, and I'm just pruning the top of my basil off so that it can grow nice and bushy and thick and not just, a little bit stringy. And then I just give them a really, really good soak with the fertilizer water. And that's my lettuce and rosemary and carrots over there. And then I move in and I'm harvesting my cilantro. This is the last harvest of cilantro I'm going to get for the year because it doesn't really thrive in the summertime. So we've got a decent amount of months out of it. And now it's just going to kind of start flowering and drop some coriander seeds. But we're really pulling out as much cilantro as we can get while the flavor is still there. And the same thing for the mint. Now the mint looks a little funny. That's because we had a fungal gnat situation, and I learned that if I could cover the top of the soil with cinnamon, and then I got these fly trap things that I could go in the soil, it completely solved my problem. And now my mint looks amazing. I also stopped watering my mint as frequently as I do my other plants. Usually I water about every day, sometimes twice a day. And with the mint, I really have taken it down to about once a week. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions or tips, share them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.